Hey everyone, this is the Melanated PhD, and I'm your host, Diamond, or soon to be Dr. Dime, and thank you so much for joining us. Today we have a very special episode, but last episode we talked about the cost of entry, also known as being yourself in academia. And today we have a very special guest that I'm very excited for you to hear from. We have future Dr. Tim Hurd. Tim is a PhD candidate in higher education at the UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, whose research focuses on university governing boards and their role in shaping institutional policy, and also the implications of how those policies affect student success. He is also the co-founder of the Doctoral Student Writing Collective, the founder of Rising Black Men, and the founder of Grosse Pointe Black Alumni Association, initiatives that foster mentorship, scholarly development, and community engagement. Through his academic and leadership work, he's committed to strengthening and expanding supportive networks for students and alum. In his spare time, Tim also enjoys running, acting, and dancing. Maybe we can see a few moves. Hashtag dancing to the PhD. Yeah, I follow the hashtag. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. That was an amazing introduction. I appreciate it.
Like, y'all don't understand. Like, Tim is like a celebrity in my eyes, literally. Not just because he's just so well-rounded, brilliant. I mean, literally such a visionary, but you've probably seen him on your screens. I mean, not everyone can say that they like just casually have dinner with Ava DuVernay. And I'm saying her name right?
DuVernay. Yeah.
DuVernay. So can you kind of, I think that's a great first place to start. How did you meet her in the first place?
I met her actually doing some C-filling. So we were at the Critics' Choice Awards. Mm-hmm. This was in January of this year. And it's just, about alignment and how things work out. So there were like 150 plus tables. Yeah. And I would go and sit where folks might be getting up at. But I ended up seeing a table and I sat there and, I wasn't really looking around who was at the table. I was just really focused on the stage and try to sit down before the show started back up. Yeah. So when I sat down, I looked to my left and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, that's Ava. And so she was sitting there and then I ended up being there the whole night. Mm-hmm. And the way that it's set up, like they don't have, as a C-filler, you don't have your phone. So I didn't have my phone on me. It was like enclosed in some type of like security blanket. So I was just sitting there and we ended up, I was like, thank you again. She was like, thanks for what? And I'm like, thanks for Jeopardy. And then she was like, huh? And I was like, yeah, so when I was on Jeopardy, I reached out to her because she was the only answer I got right on Jeopardy. And shout out to Ava. She was so kind and she was so sweet. But I DM'd her and I was like, thank you for your help. And that was a year before. Wow. And she responded and she was like, oh yeah, no problem, yada yada, whatever. And then it was just a full circle moment because we got a picture because one of my homegirls happened to be taking photos at the Critics' Choice Awards. And she just happened to be in proximity to us as I was sitting at the table and I yelled her name out. And then she came and she was like, oh, and she saw us like sitting there talking. And there was food around. And then next thing you know, we ended up having, we had a really good conversation. Yeah. But then also, my friend, she came and she took a picture of it. She captured the moment. So then I got those pictures for myself and I was like, oh wow. It was a surreal moment. It was a full circle moment, but it was one of those things like keep going. I invited her to my dissertation defense. So Ava, if you out there, hopefully I see you at the defense.
We're gonna tag her. We need to tag her.
Yeah, we gotta tag her and hopefully she's able to pull up.
First of all, that is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like just the happenstance of like you sitting next to a legend, like that's crazy. And I love that because 2 episodes ago with Dr. Dakota, we talked about serendipity and that whole concept. And I feel like that really reigns true throughout your life, like just from what I know. And also like how we met too, because you're someone that I consider like one of my high profile friends. But like I don't even like, even when we talk about like how we met, do you even know? I don't even know how we met. It was just meant to be.
Yeah, it was just meant to be. I think we was following each other on Instagram. And I think for me, I didn't really see a lot of folks who used not only their degree just to advance their research and stuff, but also as a means of creative expression. So just seeing you out with Melanated PhDs and the work that you were doing for me was inspiring. And I was like, yo, I should really, reach out as I was thinking about developing and putting together some other groups.
And we're definitely going to talk about the Black Doctors Creative because, this literally would not even be a thing without it being started by your brain neuron. So we're going to get to that. But I also want to go back because you just casually said like, oh yeah, I was on Jeopardy. Like, obviously the resume is thick, right? Before you knew you were going to get a PhD at UCLA, pre-PhD, was that already an aspiration for you to be a part of film, to be an actor, things like that? Or it just kind of came as you moved here and you saw the opportunities close by? Yeah,
no, that's a great question. It just really happened organically. Like for me, when I came here, I didn't expect anything other than just enjoy the sunshine.
Really?
You know what I mean? And study. And I told myself, like, before I started, I was like, I'm gonna make the best of my time because I'm from Detroit. I drove here from Detroit to Los Angeles. So it was a 3-day trip. 36 hours or something like that.
By yourself?
By myself. I stopped in Omaha, Nebraska the first day. Second day was Denver, Colorado. And then the third day was Vegas. And as I was driving, I felt myself, I was literally driving back in time because I was on Eastern time. I went to Central time. I went to Mountain time. And then I ended in Pacific time. Yeah. But I was going back an hour. And as I was driving back, I'm like, wow, I'm really driving into a new chapter of my life. I was excited. I was 24 at the time. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm ready to just explore and see something new. So I was really open to whatever opportunities might be out there.
Wow. Yeah. When you decided to pursue a PhD, let's go back even more. In Detroit, you went to undergrad in Michigan, correct?
Yep, Michigan State.
What was the impetus behind I want to pursue a PhD, and then why specifically in higher education? What was the motivating factors behind that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. For me, I went to Michigan State, and that was the first time I saw Black folks who had their PhDs. And my bachelor's was actually in elementary education, so I was focused on K-12. Okay. And I realized very quickly I love kids and stuff, but I didn't think that area in particular was for me. So for me, I wanted to really still be involved in education. And I knew by having access to professors who look like me that I could also go and acquire this PhD, this thing that they said only 2% of the population had. Yeah. So for me, that was appealing, but I also had the resources around me to support me and provide me insight as I was applying for, different graduate programs and things of that nature.
Wow. So since your undergraduate major was elementary education, did you want to be a teacher? Or what was your plan?
Yeah. It's funny because I'm actually reflecting in real time. I really didn't want to be a teacher.
Really? Oh,
no, I didn't want to be a teacher. I think the biggest thing was I'm from Detroit. I moved to Grosse Pointe, which is a majority white suburb, in the 5th grade. Okay. So I went from all Black to all white and navigating, and it was a very challenging time for me. So I did a summer bridge program my junior year going into my senior year, and I was at Michigan State. It was the Urban Educators Cohort Program. My dad had told me about it. He said he reached out to the Associate Dean of Michigan State. I don't know how they ended up interacting, but I ended up going. I fell in love. It was like a 2-week program, but it was the first time in a while I had been around other Black folks, a large majority of Black folks, because I was the only Black person in my class, only Black male in my class, the honor class, AP classes, and all that good stuff. So it was really cool to just be around other Black folks. And then, like I said, that was the first time I had really seen Black faculty members who had their PhDs, EDDs, and everybody's just so down to earth. And they were like, yo, we're here to support you. And I was like, oh, I'm coming back and I'm doing that program. But it wasn't because of the actual major. It was more so because of the feelings, the community that I was able to build. That's why it could have been neuroscience. It could have been being a lawyer. It didn't really matter. It was just I see Black folks who care about me, and I'm in a space where I feel accepted and not just tolerated.
Wow. Yeah. Accepted and not just tolerated. So kind of to segue, the way that you found yourself in Michigan was kind of organic. Like you said, your dad, you had these connections, and it kind of serendipitously, go back to episode, what was that, 2 or 3? What was drawing you to UCLA for graduate school?
I just wanted to get away from Michigan.
That's real.
It was during the pandemic. I just finished my master's program over at Penn. Well, actually, I was still in my master's program, but that was virtual because of the pandemic. I started that May of 2020.
Okay.
So yeah, during the pandemic, I thought I was going to move to Philadelphia, but I didn't because the pandemic.
What was in Philadelphia? Oh, like just the other schools?
University of Pennsylvania.
Okay,
So that's where I did my master's.
Oh, okay.
So I was doing it virtually, and I was looking at like doc programs because I knew I wanted to go straight into a PhD. But in the social sciences, in particular, they want you to go get some real life experience before you get into that. So for me, I was like, well, let me do this master's, and then also let me continue to do my community organizing, the work that I'm doing outside. And then I just applied, shot my shot to a few institutions. And it ended up being between UCLA, Wisconsin, and UT Austin. So those are my top three, my three final choices. And at UT Austin, I would have done a JD PhD.
Wow.
So I was looking at that, and I was like, and in fact, I almost had accepted admission to that, but it was during the snowstorm, so I don't think the acceptance ever went through.
No.
So I actually was supposed to be at UT. Well, I'm not. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
That is a divine intervention.
It was a divine intervention because I thought I was going to be at UT Austin. I was preparing myself. But then like the next day UCLA called and they had a fully funded opportunity. Wow. And I just took advantage of that.
That's a testimony right there. Like I'm inspired. You kind of touched on it. Like you said, your three options were Wisconsin, UT Austin, and UCLA. How did you find your PI? Like, did you specifically just apply to her lab, or like were you just applying to UCLA in general and you kind of got matched later? Yeah,
so when I was looking at potential advisors, I talked to one of my closest mentors, Dr. Chesbury Warren. Shout out Dr. Warren. And he was my mentor at Michigan State, one of my closest mentors at Michigan State. And I was just asking him about advisors and who I should work with, and he kept mentioning a gentleman over at UCLA. And he was like, hey, he just got here. He came from William and Mary, and our research was aligned. So I think the biggest piece was like, the research is aligned. I looked at university governing boards like board of trustees and things of that nature, and he was focused on like university college presidents, and he was also a historian, or is also a historian. So for me, I was like, I like that history piece. So there was that alignment within research. I remember reaching out to him and having a conversation, and I thought that there was some type of synergy there. So that's how I ended up finding him.
Wow. So that's a perfect transition into like the PhD itself. So like now you're at UCLA, because I'm assuming a lot of the audience, including myself, has a STEM background, even though social sciences is STEM, but just how they categorize it. Can you explain what the process is for getting a social science PhD and how that may differ from how a STEM PhD kind of operates? Because I know we have like probably the same structure of like a screening exam, qualifying exam, dissertation. Is it like that, or is it different?
Yeah, so in our program it's like that. I know every doc program is different and tailored uniquely to their own department and structure, but at least at UCLA in my program and Department of Education, first year you have your screening, your doctoral screening, and then second year you have you start to work on like your proposal. I believe. Second year, my bad. You're still in coursework. And then your third year is when you work on your proposal. And then at the end of your third year, you're supposed to defend your proposal, and then you advance to candidacy. And then fourth year plus, you might be there extra year or extra 2 years, or however. You're supposed to use that time to gather your data based off of your proposal, and then you defend.
Then that's super simple. That's literally identical. Now for this is just like a personal, I just want to know. For your screening exam, is that completely written, or is it also a presentation? Because for ours it's a presentation.
Ours was completely written.
So then that's a difference too. And then for the proposal, what we call our qualifying exam, is that written as well, or is it a presentation?
So ours was a presentation.
So I know some people have both. Like you have to do a written portion, like everything, all of your coursework, you have to get tested on that, and you have to do whatever your research. So it's kind of like the same, except for the screening exam is written. That's really awesome. So now let's talk about your research itself. Like you kind of touched on it with like this university governing boards, the infrastructure of that. Can you explain, like, I don't know, like give us an elevator pitch for your dissertation. I don't know if that's possible. No pressure. You can tell more.
Yeah, no, for sure. Elevator pitch. So my dissertation is called The End of Affirmative Action, Unpacking UC Regents' Response to SP1 and SP2. And what those were affirmative action policies that ended the consideration of race and gender in both employment and admissions in the UC system. But this happened back in the mid to late 1990s. So I am really.
And now it's coming back. Like
full circle. But California is actually the first public college system to remove affirmative action. And when you think about California, you think of it as often liberal place, but the two presidents from California are Reagan and Nixon. So I think about the just the different dynamics and nuances of California and also the University of California system, and just really examining how the UC Board of Regents, who are powerful stakeholders within the institution, they oversee like just the not the day-to-day involvement of the institution, but they oversee more high level just like workings of the institutions and like approving of different like chancellors and the university president of the whole system and entity. So they have a powerful role within the UC system.
Wow. I think you're right, because a lot of people, when they conceptualize California, because we usually vote blue, right? That's only because people only have the perspective of California of Los Angeles. Like Los Angeles County, you were pretty consistent, but like if you go out to the IE, OC, like you show your real colors of California. I mean, it's unfortunate. So like, have you had any trouble doing that type of research while you're in a UC school? Like it would seem like it would be like some pushback just because it's kind of like exposing the institution that you are working in.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think I found a lot of support. I was actually a finalist to join the UC Board of Regents a few years back. So in that experience, I was able to connect with some regent members who are on the board right now. But I was also able to really talk to folks who were just involved. And I think I started to build good relationships with them. And they kind of led me and gave me breadcrumbs to different places to check out. So that I could also help build out my own research. And then also just just really get deeper in the work that I was doing. But in terms of resistance and pushback, there really hasn't been any. It's been more so encouragement and talking to folks, especially other former student regents who were like, yo, like I really appreciate you doing this work. And then they would always give me their own personal anecdotes that I could also incorporate into my research. And then also something I just kept offline and just, lock it in the back of my mind for my own personal memory.
Yeah. And I feel like that topic is very necessary, especially it's like you didn't even know that, I guess. Well, maybe you did. Nobody could have foreseen him being reelected. But the point is that you were kind of ahead of the game, like before it was even become very relevant again. Now, because it is like inadvertently kind of a heavy topic, do you feel like you've used like your extracurricular activities and your passions in running and dancing to kind of like balance out that, I don't know, pressure? Or how have you found healthy divergence throughout your PhD?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I think for me, movement is always good for the body. So being able to kind of take a step back, like I think one of the biggest things I told myself even before I started the program is the PhD is what I'm doing. It's not my identity. So I think really trying to make that distinction and separating between the two, because I feel like so often you get so caught up in your work. Because sometimes, and a lot of times, if you have the privilege, research can be me-search. But then also even within that me-search, you need to take a break because it can just be overwhelming and it's you feeling it, on a day-to-day basis, Monday through Sunday.
Wait, can you talk more about that? Because that was deep. Sometimes research can become me-search if you have the privilege. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, if you have the privilege to do your own like topic and develop your own research that you're passionate about, because sometimes you might get into a situation where you're doing the research that your advisor, your faculty is doing.
That's true.
And they want you to, add data and you're helping to them and you're also gaining, research and different skills and stuff that will be valuable in the future. But it can also still be not as gratifying because it's not your stuff. It's not something in a way from a foundations of life that you, let's say, birthed and put out there.
Yeah, it's not your brainchild. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, with the movement and athleticism, first of all, did you play basketball? Did you play a sport?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I don't think y'all can't tell, but Tim is like super tall. Like Tim is like I remember the first time I met you, like I was like, what the heck? Like I looked up, like what the heck?
Mm-hmm.
He's like 6'5". You're 6'5" or 6'4".
6'4". Yep.
He's really tall, guys. And also because like I'm not gonna get into that, but you're really tall. Since you played sports in the past, has that been important to like continue to incorporate that into your self-care regimens and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Well? Yeah. My parents, especially my dad, had me like playing basketball, like, and, being involved in all the sports. So for me, like running is really big. I've been running 4 miles every other day.
Oh my God.
It'll be 7 years, May 26th this year. So for me, like having that self-care has been helpful. And like, I've been doing 100 push-ups every day since August 1st, 2017. And I think those are really good outlets just to kind of get myself, to take my mind off of things. Like it's really become second nature.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna run after this, like I'm always running. And it just really helps calm things down, simplify things, allows me to work on my breath.
Yeah.
And really just lock in, so.
I need some of whatever that motivation is because 4 miles every day.
Every other day, yeah.
I'm like out of breath after 1 mile. I mean, but I'm an athlete. It's just,
yeah, you're an athlete.
I don't know. It's different though for men. I don't know. I mean, not in a bad way. Anyway, the point is, I applaud your dedication and your discipline.
I appreciate that.
It was something I was going to ask related to that. I may have to just come back to it because it's escaping me at the moment. Okay, let's talk about kind of on the same strand. When you are like balancing your life as a PhD student, as a runner, I remember what it was. Why didn't you compete in the LA Marathon?
Oh, I was in Kansas City. I was presenting some research.
Presenting some research. Perfect segue to the balance. Yeah. How do you juggle it all? I mean, you're a PhD candidate. You're a founder of literally 4 different organizations at this point. I mean, and you just started a new one in the Black Doctors Creative. Like, how do you do all of these things? One day you're on set. One day you're who knows where. Like, how are you able to do all of these things? And like, what are some tips for managing your time and schedule?
Yeah,
asking for myself.
Yeah, no. I think for me, biggest thing is just honestly, it feels like God and water. I just be saying that, like I just stay hydrated, and just stay prayed up for real. And then also just having community, leaning into community. I'm really big on community. I get energy from other people as well.
Really?
So really just kind of situating myself in places with people I want to be around. And I feel like I have that privilege to do that. So I really just lock in with that. And yeah, I mean, I'm figuring it out every day, to be honest. Like I don't feel like I have like a set balance. It's more as a flow. Like I feel like things are a flow, and I also feel like flow changes, and I think you just have to adapt to that flow. So right now I have a flow that I'm adapting to, especially now that I'm on the job market. So part of that flow is really job hunting and locking into that, but then also making sure I'm eating right and making sure I'm still going to the doctor to get checked up on, and making sure I'm drinking water and dancing and still prioritizing wellness.
I love that. It's not a balance, it's a flow. So like, where did you learn that? Like, was that just something intrinsically you have, I guess, performed your entire life? Like this whole mindset, or had your entire life, this whole mindset of like flowing? Or was there like a turning point in your PhD where you realized, okay, like what I'm doing right now is not sustainable and I need to shift? Because that's very wise, like that whole
that's a great question. I think for me, it started like in undergrad when I started my mentoring org. Because I was 20. And I was very excited, and I was just like so ambitious, and just going up to black men like, yo, like I got this new org, and I had all this high energy, and some folks were looking at me crazy, but everybody respected the consistency at the end of the day, because what you saw was what you got. I was gonna have the same level of high energy. I was gonna be in your face. I was gonna do this and that, but I was doing it every day, 365 days a year. So like you would see me, and I just had that same energy. I just had that fire because for me, it was all about alchemizing situations that were otherwise unpleasant or unfavorable. And just at the end of the day, it's all energy. So using that energy in a way that translated to something that was positive and uplifting, not only for myself, which is why I did it, but then I realized it also resonated in a positive way for other people too.
Wow. So basically, he's had it figured out since the beginning.
No, it's not. It's a day-to-day
Really,
process.
like,
Yeah.
for real, like that's really inspiring. Like, wow. What would you say across your entire PhD? It's been what, 5 years? This is your fifth year. Same. He's about to defend too, by the way. What has been like one or two of the biggest highlights of your PhD?
One or two of the biggest highlights of my PhD. I think the biggest thing was just being myself, like doing it my way. You know what I'm saying? So, and by doing it my way, I can really, if I was to have to simplify it, I would say dancing to the PhD. So for me, the dancing to the PhD incorporates the entertainment piece, it incorporates the acting, it incorporates, you know, all the different game shows I've been on, but it also incorporates me being like, I'm going to be myself, and I'm going to bring that energy, that high energy. I'm going to be goofy and stuff, and I'm not going to let this program steal my joy or leave me jaded and disillusioned. So dancing to the PhD for sure is number one. And I think it's also a testament for me, is just like the faith piece of like believing that God has cleared a way for me, and then I'm going to be able to continue to move forward regardless of what obstacles that are in my way. So that's dancing to the PhD. And then the second one, I'll probably say, to be honest, like the Doctoral Student Writing Collective, co-founding that with my homegirl, like has been very healing to me in my program, just because I feel like there's just a lot of things that you don't know and that you learn in real time. And then also just navigating Los Angeles. I would say the Doctoral Student Writing Collective for me has been very healing the past 2 years of my overall doctoral experience. So I think that really played a positive factor.
For the Doctoral Student Writing Collective, can you tell the audience, because some people may be watching or listening and want to be a part of it, because I think it's amazing. I joined the call a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw you on there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, I was going to support Tim. I'm like Tim's biggest fan. Anyway, can you explain like what the setup is and what the, I guess, goal?
Yeah. So the goal is to get folks done with their PhD. The goal is to get people their doctorates. Yeah. PhD, EDD. You name it. But it's really a writing space. We write every Tuesday and Thursday from 4 to 7 Pacific, 7 to 10 Eastern. And we just come together and we have folks who come in and they speak and they share about their experiences and just kind of how they navigated their own doctoral journeys and just offer advice. And then we also have we present at conferences. So the conference I was at earlier this week was for the Doctoral Student Writing Collective. And we had a dinner and we got folks together, and we've had 49 folks defend their dissertations. 49 folks who've shouted us out and shown us love, and so many people, over 30, who've shouted us out in their dissertation acknowledgments of if it wasn't because of y'all, I wouldn't have got through. So for me, that means a lot. And like I said, that healing piece, just about my own experiences navigating my doctoral journey. So to have that and to see that has been very it's been healing, and it's also been encouraging to let me know that I'm on the right track. And it also let me know that it's bigger than me. So I'm able to contextualize, and I think when I move in a space of this is bigger than me, it allows me to really just appreciate it even more.
100%. Yeah. To go back to your first highlight, the dancing to the PhD, this is your opportunity to just really pop your stuff, because y'all don't understand. He has been on, you kind of lightly mentioned, Jeopardy, but can you tell them all of the shows that you've been, you can't tell them the ones, he has some stuff coming up that's crazy, but you can tell us the ones you already been on, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So game show wise, I was on this show was Funny You Should Ask. This guy Byron Allen owns a black gentleman from Detroit. Also happened to be a billionaire. And he owned the Weather Channel.
Wow.
But that Funny You Should Ask, and I was able to win some money on that. There's another show, Kev on Stage. He has his own studio, Kev on Stage Studios, but he has a show called That's Cap. So I did that. Guy on YouTube, Kevin Lang. He does a lot of he has a show called Kevin Lang Show. So I do trivia and all that stuff. So I did that with him. And then Switch, which is on the Game Show Network. Let's Make a Deal with Wayne Brady, which is on CBS.
Everyone knows the Let's Make a Deal.
Yep. So Let's Make a Deal. And then I think there might have been one or two more actually, but just doing those game shows and being able to meet really cool folks. And then TV wise, it's been a lot of background.
Yeah.
I've had a couple principals, some commercials, did a Checker and Rally commercial. And then a show called Sex Life with College Girls. And All Americans, a football player.
What?
And
You did not tell me you were an All-American.
Yep.
That was my show for a long time.
Yep. So, I've been on a couple shows here. Shrinkins on Apple TV.
What?
And, a couple other ones that I can't say because it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
But I've been living.
tuned.
I've been living.
The
So,
IMDb thing. Is your IMDb up?
yeah, it's up. Yeah.
Yeah. He's famous. So,
I'm not
guys.
famous. No, I'm not.
Matter of fact, I'm going to get your autograph after this. Matter
I'm
of fact.
trying to get yours. Dr. Don.
No, but it's really cool. Okay, so this is like, I don't know, just background question. Like, during your PhD, has it been hard to, okay, maybe I want to say it differently. The reason why I say background is like, this is me asking, like, personally. I know that sometimes it can be hard for you to be your full self in a academic space. And this is kind of the reason why we, wanted to start the Black Doctors Creative. Has there been any tension between, I don't know, you and your administration, between like your work and you doing these extracurriculars?
Yeah.
And how have you navigated that, if that has been an issue?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think for me, there just hasn't been any engagement with it. I think my administration or like my advisor and stuff, they just don't engage with it. There hasn't been any acknowledgement of it.
Oh, but do they know?
I don't know.
Oh.
I used to tell my advisor about all the stuff, but he just had a very stoic look, like he didn't really care.
He didn't care. Okay, I'd rather not care than like.
So that was cool, right? So that gave me the latitude to really go out there and continue to engage in that stuff. But it was never any like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, because one, like I said, I don't think anybody was paying attention. And then number two, when I talked to my advisor, like I said, there was really no.
That's good.
He was more indifferent about it.
Okay.
So he wasn't like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. He's just like, do you have your deadlines and stuff?
Okay.
And as long as I did that, that's all that mattered. So.
Now, is there like a clause in like your PhD? Because I know you're on a fellowship. Are you in a fellowship?
Yeah, I was. It's
Okay.
open now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, because I know like in our fellowship clause, like it will say like you can't have any other forms of employment like simultaneously while you're receiving aid from your fellowship. So is there something similar like that for social science? This is me not knowing anything about like the social science context of like funding and fellowships.
Yeah, not that I know of.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I had no issues.
I mean, not to bring it up if it was a thing. No, like, that's good. That's good to know, because we have that. Like a lot of people ask, like, how do you get by on like the STEM stipend? Like, because it's so low, and it's not even low really. It's just because we're in Los Angeles and like the cost of living is like crazy.
Yeah.
Which is probably another good question to ask, like financially, like how have you adjusted? I mean, I don't think it's given like you're in want or need, but I know for me, like it's been a big adjustment. Like everything costs here, and then like gas is like $6 now.
Yeah.
Have you just been able to sustain through your projects and your stipend, or?
Yeah. Well, stipend, I haven't been paid since almost a year from UCLA. So.
Is that illegal? What the heck?
No, because my fellowship ended.
Okay.
It was 4 years.
Yeah,
so I haven't been paid by UCLA since June of last year. So for me, fortunately, I've been able to have a nice network where I've been able to get consulting opportunities that have sustained me. But that's really what sustained me outside of just living in Los Angeles. So shouts out to a good savings and just kind of putting money away and being intentional about that. Because that's gotten me through. So now, I'm on a job hunt, and we're gonna see where it lands.
I mean, you gonna, if anybody gonna have a job, you gonna have a job, because you always like on set or doing something like.
No,
and you're very marketable. You're very well rounded. So I think you'll be fine.
I appreciate it. I received that.
So we kind of talked about it with the Black Doctors Creative. So can you tell the audience, this is something I'm really excited about, what the mission of the Black Doctors Creative is? What even, I don't know, What was the light bulb that went off and was like, we need this?
Yeah. So really the mission of the Black Doctors Creative is to bring other Black doctors around Los Angeles. It will be, national. I'm speaking
soon.
At some point.
Amen.
Yeah. But to bring Black doctors who are also creatives and like engage in entertainment and media to come together to really engage in fellowship, dialogue, community, and professional development. So a lot of those areas in particular, because I saw that there was that gap. And I think for me as a researcher, I can't necessarily take that researcher hat off. Like I think I was a researcher before I started my program. So for me, like I was like, where is the area that I can fill a gap? And that was something, because I had other folks, and I would see folks like yourself, see folks like Bernard and other folks who were doing like all these amazing things media wise and just carving and creating their own lanes. And I was like, how can we come together and be able to support one another while also continue to do our own individual things, and just really having that place of support. And a lot of that came from like starting the Doctoral Student Writing Collective, starting Rising Black Men, starting the Grosse Pointe Black Alumni Association. Just really because for me in those areas, like I prayed on it first, and that was most important. I prayed on it. I took a step back. I asked God if it was something I needed to do. And once I got that affirmation, I'm like, yes, then I did it. And for me, I've had success. I've been fortunate. I'm 3 for 3. So, it's the fourth one. So we're going to see, and, so far so good. We're already starting to build out. I'm excited about it. We got a lot of really good motion. We got a lot of content coming up. So, I'm excited.
So if you all want to be a part of the Black Doctors Creative or just support us anyway, make sure you follow us on Instagram at Black Doctors Creative. So BLACK DOCTORS CREATIVE.
Come on.
Dang, I was spelling me transfer or something.
No, you good.
So I'm really excited about this actually because, and I'm so glad that you even thought to like pull me in on something like this, because I felt like it was so aligned. And like, I was thinking about this after our launch event on Friday about how like, how people say God has your names in rooms you're not even, aware of. Like, I'm just so honored to be a part of, I really am. Like, Tim, thank you so much, because it feels so aligned with like my passions, and it really has been a beacon of light, like especially in this time period, like gearing up for my defense and stuff like that. Like I have something to look forward to. Like I was so excited, like, oh, we have our launch today. Like in the midst of like all the stress of the PhD and defending, I'm like, this is like something I can look forward to. Even like having our meetings, like our co-founding board meetings, it's like, oh, y'all are pretty cool. And like also my network of Black PhD or terminal degree owners is pretty small, like, so I think that it's just beautiful when we're all able to come together and like collaborate in the way that we do with Black Doctors Creative. So thank you for that. I want to give you your flowers for that, for sure.
Thank
you. Bringing me into the fold. So what's next? Like you literally have 4 organizations. So obviously that is going to be continuing to evolve, but what would you define your dream job or role or position as?
I would say my dream job role would be some type of like creative director or like chief visionary officer. Because I think a lot of the things that I focus on is like vision, and it could be like working with a large company like a Netflix or Google, and just like bringing people together for the advancement of a common goal, common good, and really being able to share my research about like governing boards and governance, and then more broadly like organizational change. So I think for me, this PhD will provide me the opportunity to really navigate different organizations and focus on organizational change. So I think that ideal job would be focused on engaging in organizational change at different levels.
I mean, I feel like that's the perfect synergy of your work as a doctor, as your PhD work, and also like the creative in you, which leads me to the next question of like, how would you define a creative doctor? Like, what does that term mean?
That's a great question. I think a creative doctor, when I think of it, I think of somebody who yields their advanced degree in a way that provides joy in a way that provides authenticity, in a way that provides really transparency, in a way that encourages others to think outside of the box along with themselves. So I think the heart of like a creative doctor is somebody who really doesn't limit themselves and put them in a certain like one box of this is what it is, but they live outside the box. They live on the margins.
Yeah.
And people who operate on the margins, but also in operating on the margins, encourage other people to do the same and to free themselves for their constrictions.
I love that definition. I think, well, we'll talk about this offline because I know we're like, you know, getting things together administrative wise.
Yep.
But I love that who yields their degree to bring joy and authenticity. That was just off the dome. Like, you just, he's brilliant.
You too, guys.
That is brilliant. Like, because the fact that I remembered, because I was like impacted by it. Like, I felt like I got chills. Like, that's deep.
Oh, yeah,
I love it. So I know we're kind of, I could talk to Tim all day, but is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience? Mind you, keeping in mind, like, Melanated PhD's purpose was to bridge the gap between Black youth and higher level academia, but also like debunk a lot of the lies that people have heard about earning a PhD. And so part of that debunking is like a PhD student or candidate is not a monolith. Like, he's also an actor. He's also a runner. He's also like all of these things. And like you said, breaking out of that box. Is there anything that you would want to share with anyone listening who may be looking up to you or who may want to pursue a PhD in higher education? Yeah. Or be an actor? Or dancing to the PhD. Go ahead.
No, I appreciate that. And shouts out to you for Melanated PhDs. I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. And I think you're continuing to demystify the process. So big shouts out to you for that.
Thank you.
I think for me, the biggest thing, piece of advice, I would just say, just be consistent. Be consistent. And in a way you have to be, and I was watching this Mike Epps special that he was doing, his last comedy special. And I forgot what he specifically said, but it was something along the lines of like, you have to be a little off in order to be successful. Like, you have to, because there are going to be people telling you what you should do, and people come in and they might have the best intentions. It might even be family, but they're like, this was never done or this never happened. So it's like, you have to really believe in your dreams and really have to be consistent with it, be persistent with it. And just keep going. I think as you continue to put things out there, sometimes things won't land, but other times things will land. So it's just really get your shots up. So I would say keep shooting your shot. Really tap into other people who are engaged in the areas that you want to be a part of, and just reach out. That's a part of shooting your shot too, because you never know. Somebody might, leave you on red, but another person might be like, you know what, I appreciate that. Let me take you in and let me really work with you, and let me help tailor you and give you the resources and skills you need to be where I'm at or even better.
I love that. Shoot your shot. I mean, especially shoot your shot, because if you're like Tim, you shoot your shot 4 for 4. Undefeated. You never lose. But thank you so much, Tim, for coming. Thank you for being a part of this. Like, it's truly an honor, because like, how you have friends, like especially the co-founding board, like y'all are people that I'm like, I'm going to be very proud and like bragging on y'all in a few years. Like, I can brag on y'all now, but like, I just envision y'all just all in your own respective areas, just being at the top of your field, and the impact it will make together. I get excited just thinking about it. So I'll have this video to go back, so you can't ever disown me. Like, no, this is my friend, guys.
Of course. Come on. We started this. Come on.
So thank you all for watching. Be sure to tune in next week for our next episode, and see you all soon.